easy steps for you to be able to bring more of your stories into your marketing and actually share a bit more vulnerability and help you to make deeper connections, build more relationship with your audience, and help you sell more of your products and services. So we all know that, like, have you heard the saying, facts tell and stories sell? Using stories in your marketing is such a powerful and effective way to bring yourself, more of you, into your message. And I'm going to give you today a really simple 5-step process that you can use that's going to help you always come up with content ideas, how to create different types of posts. So you can use them for your social media posts, emails, even your videos, and actually help you to build deeper connections. And in turn, that's going to help you to grow more sales in your business. So that's what we're going to be talking about today on this episode of the Brilliantly You Business Show. So happy to be here. And if we're meeting for the first time, firstly, thanks so much for being here. I always love to welcome people who spend their time, take time out of their day to join in the conversation today. My name is Jenny Stevens. I help coach and train other home business entrepreneurs, online businesses, and really help you to attract your customers and clients to you, help you to be able to generate leads, and help you to be able to be brilliantly you in everything that you do with confidence. So you can actually feel more confident in yourself to be you and know how to actually attract people so you can grow your business online and help you have the mindset to go with that of all the journey that kind of comes along with being an entrepreneur, right? So make sure that you stick around for this episode because this is going to be a really great process for you to take notes on. So make sure you grab yourself a notepad and pen, jot down these notes, and it's going to be really, really beneficial for you if you're struggling to know how can I act, like how can I actually think of stories to share that your audience are going to love. And so that's exactly what this 5-step process is going to be. I'm going to give you today, which is cool. Do make sure that you're following, you're subscribed to wherever you're watching or listening to this episode so you can stay in touch and you get notified when new episodes drop and you get kept up to date with all the latest goings on with what I've got to share with you today. And I'm really excited for this topic. So this is going to be a good one. A big part of what I see people struggling with when it comes to knowing what to write in your social media posts. Either people struggling to know what to talk about, they struggle to know how to actually structure a post. Like, how do you actually piece together an effective social media post? Or it might be an email to your email list if you're building an email list. And so this process, what I'm going to give you some of those actual structure pieces to help you create those posts as well. And then it's knowing, well, how can I bring more of my story into it? Some people I talk to, they're like, but I don't really have much experience. I don't have much of a story to share. At the end of the day, you do. Your story is your story. It doesn't have to be this big, elaborate, like, oh my God, I had this massive trauma or this crazy like journey. It can be the boring stuff that happens because actually there's going to be a lot of other people that are just like you. And that's the thing. It's about you sharing you, and there's going to be other people that connect with your words, and using stories as your tool and vehicle to make that connection with your readers, your listeners, your watchers, your audience. It's going to help people get to know you, and that builds trust. And that's then where the magic and the blossoming kind of happens with that relationship, and then that's what turns into people wanting to follow you and wanting to stay up to date with what you've got to do and want to buy from you too. And let's get started into this 5-step process. All right. So the very first part of the process, part of this 5-step process is, and this is really important to do first before you kind of do anything else, is you need to know and think about one specific problem that your target market, your market, your perfect customer, whatever you want to, however you like to label them. But you need to first off know, what are those problems, struggles, frustrations? What is it that your people, the people that you are marketing to, what are they dealing with right now? And you need to kind of make sure you do that legwork first. I teach people to kind of create a document, have something that you can brain dump, do this exercise. And then when you've got that, you can easily refer back to it for this first step. So when you might have a list of different things, doing that research, taking that time is so important. And from that list, then I want you to pick one. So pick one of those pain points, one of those problems, one of those things that you know your audience are struggling with. So it might be, what kind of specific questions are they asking? What are they searching for? And so pick one of those to focus on as part of your story right now. Okay. So that's number one. Thinking about one specific problem that your target market have. The second step in the 5-step process of how to bring more of your story into your marketing is then when you've got that one specific problem that you're going to focus on, now it's time to think about a time in your life. Think about an experience that you might have had that's related to that one specific problem. Most of us, building our business, we're kind of like a product of the product. We were probably our, target market, but however many months or years or steps behind. A lot of people who, run a business online, especially when it's kind of a personal brand, which a lot of the people that I work with, we are the brand. We've gone through that journey. You might have been in that position that maybe your clients or your customers are in now. And so I want you to think about before. I want you to think about you however many months or years before and share a personal experience with that problem. So think about that time. What was going on for you at that time? How did you feel? Like deep down, how did you really feel? And it's really important to not just skirt around it. The deeper and more vulnerable you can be, the better. And I know it can be hard to be vulnerable. It can be difficult to open yourself up to strangers and put yourself and your story out there on social media. But I'm telling you, it's going to make such a difference into how it's received on the other end. So think about what was the impact of having that problem in your life? What were the fears that were going on in your mind? Like, oh my God, if I don't sort this out, then what? Talk about that in your post, in your stories. Now, sometimes you may not have your own personal experiences. And if you haven't got that, that's totally fine. You can still create a really powerful story without it necessarily being yours. Obviously, if it is yours, it is going to be much more, it's going to be much more powerful, much more effective. But I know that sometimes you don't have that. So just if you can, even think about an experience that maybe isn't directly related to the specific thing that you sell and you offer. But is there another time in your life where you dealt with a similar problem that you can maybe refer to? Or you can even use other people's, but ideally you want it to come from you because this is about building connection with you. But you can use it where you share somebody else's story and experience, get permission from them first, and you can then kind of bring that into your story. But ideally, you want it to be yours. So think about a time when you were dealing with that specific problem or something similar that you can kind of tie it to and share what you were feeling, what you were going through, what that really felt like. Not just, oh, I was frustrated. What did it really feel like? And say the more you can bring out of it, and it kind of takes a bit of practice and gets a bit of used to doing this, but it's going to be so much more powerful. And then you're going to lead into step 3. So when you're talking about how you feel, how you felt, what was going on for you, what the impact. And again, this is part of that structure. You can cover all of these things. All right. Describe what it was like for you. The more descriptive you can be, like a story, the better. So then, step 3 out of the 5. So you've picked a problem. You're now going to share that personal experience of that problem. Then number 3 is now you're going to relate and transition to your products and services. Now, you don't always have to do this, but at the end of the day, we're running a business. And the idea of using stories is to build connection. But also, we've got an end game as well. Like, we are running a business at the end of the day. You have a solution to offer. So don't be afraid to share it. It doesn't have to be like a hard hitting, hard sell, direct, buy my shit. You can do it in a soft way. But when you share this personal story and experience, the next part, and so again, the next part of that structure of your post or your email or even your video, now this is your opportunity to now talk about what changed, what happened. So this is where you can start to relate it to and transition into, I'm talking about the problem. Now here's where I found a solution. So, what was that moment? So, before you kind of get into that, talking about what that solution was, a really great thing you can do is to talk about, and this can literally be like one paragraph, a couple of sentences. So, what did you find or do to make a change? What was that pinnacle moment for you where you were like, do you know what? Enough is enough. Because we all have that, don't we? Like, whether it's you finally stop eating crap and you're so sick of your jeans being too tight. We all have that moment where, like, screw this, I cannot keep going like this and keep getting bigger and bigger and not doing what I know I need to do, and just watching what I eat, tracking your food, exercising more, whatever it is. There's a moment where we go, fuck, something's got to change. And if I don't, what happens? So, what was that moment for you? If you had one of those epiphanies, an aha moment, a breaking point, oh my God, I've just found something. I had no idea that this could be this easy, or like whatever it is. So, what was that moment for you? Again, describe that. Share again what you found, and then how it started to then change things for you. So maybe you found a product that you love. So if you kind of do affiliate marketing, then it's great. You can share the product, service, course, like whatever it was that the coach, whatever it was that really helped you, the method. Or if you've ended up kind of innovating and creating something for yourself where you are your own testimonial and case study kind of thing, again, share that. So did you create something to solve the issue, or did you come across something from somebody else? So perfect for those of you who like to promote affiliate products, network marketing products. That's how I got started. Like in my business, I started out in direct sales and network marketing. It wasn't because I sold makeup. So it wasn't like I was crying on the sofa because I didn't know how to do my eyebrows, like it was a different kind of thing. But for a lot of my friends in the industry who with like health and wellness products, that was the thing. They were people with low energy, or they were tired all the time, or they had health issues, and then they came across a product that did help them. So whatever it is for you, but it's great for that. So share a bit about that solution and what it's done for you personally. How do you feel now? That that journey of pissed off, frustrated, struggling, like, oh my God, staying up at night, to then the after. After you found that solution, after you found the thing that's helped you, how do you feel? How did you feel afterwards? And then also, what's been the impact of you getting rid of that problem or finding a solution to help you with that problem that you were dealing with? So it's not just going, oh, I feel great, but what is the impact of you feeling better? What is the impact of you getting better sleep? What is the impact of you dealing with your trauma? What is the impact of you sorting out your money blocks? What's the impact of you learning how to build funnels and have some automation in your business? Like, whatever the thing is, what's the impact of that on you? So that's where you can have that part of your post and your email that then you talked about the problem, what it felt like. Then you had this moment where you were like, enough's enough. And then I came across a solution, or I decided I was going to create something to alleviate this. And then step 4 is then to give a call to action for the next steps. So you've teased about the solution. You don't have to give them all the details about exactly what your product is or what everything is, but you can tease it. You found a product that really helped you. You found a supplement. You found a expert that you loved and really helped you, and you want to be able to share their details with them. Or I found a course that I went through. I learned this skill, and oh my God, it's changed my life. So then your call to action is then kind of, what do you want them to do next? Tell them what you want them to do. So you can tease the solution. Like I said, you don't have to give all of the information. If you can leave a bit of curiosity, the better, because you want people to comment or message you or actually go, oh, what is this? So tell them what you want them to do next. How do you want them to move forwards? Don't just assume that they'll know or they'll do it. So it might be to message you, might be, if you're interested to learn what I've been doing that's really helped me, pop me a message and I'll share more with you. It could be check out the link in the description, or I'm going to put a link in the comments for you. Go and check it out. It's going to give you more information and you can get everything that you need and decide if it's right for you. It might be book a call with me and we can chat and we can see if it's a fit for you. Okay. So whatever your next steps might be, it's going to depend on what you do in your business and how you like to do things. If you're doing kind of one-on-one servicing type stuff, if you're doing and you really want to be able to kind of vet the people that you're going to be working closely with, it might be to book a call with you, or even say message you, and then you might go on to say, let's jump on a call. So tell them what to do, be clear, don't assume that they'll do it. And then step 5 in the 5-step process to bring more of your stories into your marketing is repeat with then another problem. So you've created your post. So go and put it out there, send it to your email list, put it out on your socials, post the video, like however you like to do things. Then you're going to repeat and go back to step 1 and choose a different problem. When I learned this kind of simple process, it made launching new products, launching new services, thinking about how am I going to promote this? It genuinely was a game changer. It made it so much easier to know, well, I can just talk about different things. So now you're going to go back to step 1 and you're going to go through those next 4 steps, and then you repeat with a different problem. So now, using the structure, now you've got lots of ideas of different content that you can share that can share different parts of your story. It allows you to cover different aspects that people might be feeling. It allows you to talk about multiple problems that people might be going through. So maybe your solution covers like 5 core problems, or 3 or 4 or 10, whatever. If you can talk about some of those different things that people might be dealing with, you're covering more ground. You're going to actually be able to connect with more people, because not everybody may relate to the one of those problems potentially. And so it gives you just so much content ideas. You can even then go back and use the same problem, but maybe you've got multiple stories you can share. So like when I think back and I think about when I first started my business on social media, I only knew what I knew. Like I started out in direct sales. We had a team. It was a brand new company to the UK. So we were all kind of like trying to figure this out. Social media was fairly new in terms of nowadays, 7 years on, everybody is, so many companies and so many people are now building on social media. But 7 years ago, it wasn't such a big thing. So there wasn't so much help and training out there. And unfortunately, a lot of the methods that were being taught, it was a bit spammy, and it was taking cold, people going up to random strangers in the supermarket or on the street into social media, and that does not work. But I did some of it. Not I mean, I drew the line at some things, but it was a lot of, just kinda talk to everyone. It was, post 7 times a day. I mean, my God. You think back now, Christ, having to post like 5 to 7 times a day, mixing up a bit of, normal personal life, and I mean, I used to post my products all over my social media profiles. Thank God I got some help. But I've got so many, like, experiences from those early days of building my business that I then can share in my posts, in these episodes, in just generally just sharing in conversation. So if you've got multiple examples, multiple experience of things that you can pull from, even if there's only one main problem that you solve, think about those different things. And then you can just share again different angles and different parts, different stories with people. So like I say, you've got a ton of content ideas, and using some of that structure with steps kind of 2 to 4, now that's going to really help you to be more vulnerable. It's going to help you to share more emotion. It's going to help you, and by doing that, that helps you to create deeper connections with your audience. The people that are reading, are listening, are watching, you know, people lurk. I've had people buy from me. I had no idea they were watching me. I've bought from people that I haven't, messaged them or commented on their stuff necessarily. People like to watch and lurk. So you never know who's watching. You never know who's listening. And keep doing it consistently. Being vulnerable is a really tough thing. It took me quite a lot of practice having some of these tools, just doing it. You've got to just push through that comfort zone and just do it and trust it, because it does have impact. When you share real, raw experiences, it's massive. And suddenly, the other side, like, think about for yourself as a person who's maybe on social media and you see somebody share a vulnerable story. I bet you feel like, "Oh my God, I know this person so much better now." Or, "I had no idea they'd gone through that." Like, I cry at strangers' posts because I can feel the emotion. I can feel the struggle. I can relate to it and go, "Oh my God, I know exactly how they feel." And that's what you can do. And that's the power that you have when you use stories as your way to market. So it's not just about sell, 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 buy my stuff. You're doing it in a really authentic and real way that actually deepens that connection and that relationship with people. And people are going to be much more likely to engage with you, to follow you, and then build up that trust from there. And it's really the trust. Without trust, people won't buy from you. And so the stories really help you to build trust. So it's such a powerful thing to do. And I've had this myself, the more vulnerable I've been, and again, it's not always easy, especially when I talk about my fertility struggles. That was a big thing. I kept hidden to only close friends for a long time. Now I've done a lot of kind of inner work for myself. I I feel more able to talk about it more publicly to my business world. I know that it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's me. I kept waiting for like that happy ending and be like, "Oh, I'll tell the story when I can go, yeah, I'm pregnant." But now I'm more open to be vulnerable about it. And even though it's still a bit scary, and the amount of times I've written again posts and I've ended up not posting it, but that's just me. But even not just about my fertility stuff, but even just in general, the more vulnerable I am, the better. And it always feels great from doing it. So that 5-step process is really going to help you. And just know as well, like, if you're not a confident writer, don't worry. We all start at the beginning. You might read my post and and you think, "Oh God, maybe you really like the way I write." Maybe you go, "Oh, I couldn't write like that." I wasn't always like that. I've had to learn this skill. and you can't learn it without doing it. So I've got great tools like how to bring out more of the emotion, how to be more vulnerable. And this process that I've given you today is really going to help you. But you can't get good at writing unless you write. You can't get good at doing videos unless you do videos. You've got to just put yourself out there and go, okay, I'm just going to have a go. The first one, yeah, it might suck. It might not be great, but you did it. The second one might be a bit better. By the time you get to the 10th, 20th, 100th, I dread to think how many posts I've written, how many videos I've done. Now, me, 7 years on, I'm more confident, but I didn't always start that way. So just start, okay? And the more you do it, the easier it will become. And when you're typing on your keyboard, you're tapping away, it will start to just flow out of you. Sometimes you've literally just got to start. You've got to just sit down, bring up a Word document or OneNote or Google Docs or however you like to work, and literally just start. And it's amazing how the words will just flow out of you. So it does take practice. And then the thing is, when you do this as well, when you start to do this more, you will get noticed more. People will start to stop on their scrolling in Facebook or whatever. And when you use more stories, people get invested in it. Think about yourself. Like, how many people spend 3 hours watching a film or reading a ginormous novel? So often people go, oh, well, isn't that a bit long for a social media post? I have read some gigantic social media posts. It's really hard to read sometimes, especially when those people don't actually add in any breaks. It's like, oh dear God. But I still read it because I get engulfed in it. I'm invested in it because it's a story. People love stories. So it's actually going to help you get noticed more and attract people to you, which is what you want. So I'm just going to recap on that 5-step process for you to bring more stories into your marketing. So the first one is what you need to make sure you've done some research and you have something, some way where you know what your problems and frustrations and struggles of your target market are. When you've got that list, pick one of those problems. So step one is pick one of the problems that they've got, that they're dealing with. Step two is then think about one experience, one story you can think about where you felt that same problem. Describe it, talk about it, and use the structure that I give you. So go back, watch the whole video, listen to the whole episode if you haven't done so already, and take note of that structure with how you bring that vulnerability and that emotion into it. But share a personal experience with that one specific problem. Number three is then you're going to relate it and start to transition to your product and service, your offer. What was the solution that you found? How did it feel after getting that solution? And then you can kind of introduce and tease the solution that you've got. Step four is then you're going to give a call to action for what to do next. So what do you want them to do? Message you, click on a link, book a call, whatever. Tell them what to do next. And then step five is then repeat and go back up and pick another problem. So you've got this lovely little process that is duplicatable, it's repeatable, that you can do over and over and over again. And it's going to be an awesome way for you to be able to bring more of you into your marketing, bring more of your voice, your story. And especially when you're the personal brand, it's like, yes, yes, yes. And it's going to go down so well. So try it out. Try it out, see how it goes for you, and just practice. Just have a go. And you'll be really surprised at what you come up with. I bet you'll be surprised and go, wow, I didn't even realize I felt like that. It's quite therapeutic. So I hope you found that useful. Go and have a go. And I'd love to know how it goes for you. Do make sure that you share that with me. And I want to give you a resource today. If you want to be able to get more sales, if you want to be able to take this and kind of amplify it on a bigger level, then I want to give you a free resource. So this week, I want to tell you about my free video series if you haven't gone through it already. And it all is about how do you double your sales without doubling your workload. So it's going to really help you. So this is like one of those fundamental skills that is going to serve you forever. And when you can do this, you can then take this with my 3-part video series that I'm going to show you then how you take something like one of these storytelling posts and you can double your sales and amplify it with a really awesome system and process. So there'll be a link to that resource in the show notes. So check around this episode for a link to those show notes and link to that resource where you can go and get that. It's a 3-part video series, and it's really going to help you if you want to be able to kind of amplify your sales even more. Doing this process changed my business. It changed how I did things. It actually saved me time. It enabled me to get way more sales without being that constant one-on-one in conversations like in Messenger and stuff like that. So this is going to be awesome for you. So go and check it out. You'll find the link to it in the show notes. So check around this episode for how you can access that. And make sure that you're subscribed, leave a review of this episode, follow me, make sure you're doing all the things so you get notified of when we go live and when the next episode drops. I'd love to know any takeaways that you had from this. So if you're watching this video, please leave a comment below with any takeaways you got from today. What was something that you think, oh, I like that. Big ahas. Please share that with me. I love to hear what you get from these trainings and from these episodes. I would love to hear from you. And thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for tuning in, for listening to this, and feel free to share the love if you think anybody else might find this episode useful. So thank you so much. Have an amazing rest of your day. I'll be back next week for another episode of the Brilliant You Business Show. Take care. Bye.